Transubstantiation. As part of the Catholic service called the Eucharist, you will be offered bread and wine. The bread is actually a small cracker, the wine is red wine, and it can't be just grape juice. They call it bread, but it's not bread, it's a cracker. But that's not the important part. And then they tell you that this magically transforms into human flesh and blood, the flesh and blood of Jesus Christ. Yes, it still looks like a cracker, it still tastes like a cracker, it still has the consistency of a cracker, but really, they are human flesh and blood. This, of course, is theophagy. A more accurate term would be cannibalism, and young children are told by their parents, who they trust and believe, that they are eating human flesh, and they have nightmares about it. Imagine you're a child. You love and trust your parents. Everything they tell you is true. They wouldn't lie to you. And they tell you you're eating human flesh. So it isn't just crazy, it's also child abuse. Impanation. The cracker doesn't change, but it includes the presence of Jesus. Just as God was made flesh in the person of Jesus, here Christ's divine characteristics are shared by the cracker. The Catholic Church considers this to be heresy. Get the bonfire ready. Consubstantiation. In this case, the substance of the body and blood of Christ is present alongside the substance of the bread and wine, which remain present. The Catholic Church considers this to be heresy. Get the Spanish Inquisition ready. Some Christians reject the concept of the real presence, believing that the Eucharist is only a ceremonial remembrance of the death of Christ. Mormons use ordinary bread and water and make a prayer from the Book of Moroni. Seventh-day Adventists, Mennonites and some other groups participate in foot washing before the Eucharist. Some churches use matzah because the Last Supper was the Passover meal and they would have eaten only unleavened bread, matzah. Intinction means you receive a piece of consecrated bread or wafer, dip it in the blessed wine and consume it. So that's 4 ways of looking at the Eucharist, but there are many more in and around those 4. If you look into this in more detail, you will find yourself deep in a rabbit hole where nothing makes sense and everyone believes something different. And the various explanations as to how this magical transformation happens, and the details of the transformation, and the explanations of how come it still has exactly the same properties of the original cracker, will be told to you with great seriousness and gravity, and it's only polite to keep a straight face during those explanations. Try not to laugh until you're at least 100 yards away.